A homeowner in Leeds installs a brand new boiler in October. It costs £1,400 including fitting. It comes with a 2-year warranty. By the following February, just 16 weeks later, the printed circuit board fails. No heating, no hot water, January temperatures outside. She calls the manufacturer. The engineer network has 45 engineers covering the entire country. The earliest available appointment is 11 days away. The repair quote, once the engineer finally arrives, is £335 just to attend, and if the parts cost more than £250, the boiler is formally declared beyond economic repair. The boiler is 4 months old. She replaces it, another £1,400. That homeowner is not unlucky. That homeowner bought the wrong brand, and today we're going to tell you exactly which brands to avoid and which 3 are worth every penny. Because in a country where the average boiler replacement costs between £2,250 and £3,660, getting this decision wrong is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make inside your own home. Here is the first thing you need to understand, buying a boiler in Britain is not the same calculation as buying one in Germany, where the same boiler models routinely run for 20 years or more. The Heating Hub found that UK manufacturers quote lifespans of 10 to 15 years for all boilers that German households expect to last 15 to 20. 75% of UK gas households have a boiler 12 years old or less. 3/4 of the country are replacing functional machines earlier than necessary, generating billions in replacement revenue for manufacturers, with every incentive to keep that cycle turning. The hard water problem. Over 60% of England sits in a hard or very hard water area, including London, the South East, the Midlands, East Anglia and large parts of Yorkshire. Limescale builds inside heat exchangers and around pump seals at a rate no manufacturer's lifespan estimate accounts for. Warranty cover for limescale damage does not exist. It is classified as a maintenance issue. You pay for the consequence of where you live. The parts availability problem. Since Brexit, supply chains for European manufactured boiler components have become slower and more expensive. Several brands on today's list are Italian manufacturers with parts warehouses that were already thin. A delay that previously took a week now takes 3, no heating, no hot water, a family waiting for a circuit board in a British January. The warranty gap problem. A guarantee is a full commitment, fails they fix it. A warranty is conditional, it requires annual servicing, excludes water quality damage, and excludes sludge failure. Cheap brands set it at 2 to 5 years. Premium brands set it at 10 to 12. That is not a paperwork difference. It is a decade of protected ownership versus 2 years of conditional coverage on a machine supposed to last 15, the boiler tax problem. From January 2024, major manufacturers increased prices by up to £120 per unit in response to the government's Clean Heat Market mechanism, a policy fining manufacturers £500 per missing heat pump sale. Every gas boiler in Britain now carries an embedded policy cost with nothing to do with quality. On a budget boiler, that £120 is a significant share of the margin. On a premium boiler, it is absorbed into a machine that lasts twice as long. This is built on 4 things. First, the Which. Annual Boiler Survey, the most rigorous independent study of the UK boiler market, covering over 12,000 boiler owners and 166 heating engineers, scoring each brand on reliability, build quality, parts availability, and ease of repair. Which does not take money from manufacturers. Second, GasSafe registered engineers who service these machines after the warranty expires. The people who see what actually breaks, at what age, and at what cost. Third, Trustpilot verified owner reviews from 2024 and 2025, filtered for reviews submitted more than 12 months after installation. Fourth, manufacturer warranty and parts documentation were cross-referenced against independent engineer reports on availability. No manufacturer paid for placement here. A couple of them would prefer this video did not exist. That is how you know we are doing it right. In the 1980s, a British boiler was a cast iron box with a burner, a heat exchanger and a thermostat, built to last 30 years. The engineer who installed it could service it with a standard toolkit and order parts from a local merchant. When something went wrong, the repair was simple, and the cost was proportionate. Then two things happened simultaneously and changed everything. The first was the condensing boiler mandate. From April 2005, all new gas boilers were required by law to be condensing units, extracting additional heat from flue gases before they exit. A modern A-rated condensing boiler converts over 92% of gas into heat, against 70 to 80% for old models. But the condensing mechanism adds a condensate pipe, a condensate trap, and an acidic water management system the old boilers never had. In a cold snap, the condensate pipe freezes and shuts the boiler down. The mandate improved efficiency and added failure points simultaneously. The second was market commoditization. The mandate opened the UK to a wave of cheaper European manufacturers who could build to the minimum regulatory standard at a lower price. Italian manufacturers, Ferroli, Biasi, Vokèra, entered the UK in volume, attractive to developers where upfront cost mattered and long-term performance was someone else's problem. Volume house builders fitted tens of thousands across Britain throughout the 2000s and the 2010s. First-time buyers moved into homes with boilers they had never chosen. The 4 brands to avoid. Worst number 1, Ferroli. Let me say something fair before I explain why they are first on this list. Ferroli has been manufacturing boilers for over 50 years, and their boilers are present in hundreds of thousands of British homes. The Ferroli Modena range uses a copper heat exchanger that delivers rapid warm-up times and is, on paper, genuinely efficient. The problem is what copper does in a UK hard water environment. Copper heat exchangers have a lifespan of approximately 7 years in UK hard water areas, half that of a stainless steel equivalent. The Ferroli printed circuit board, described by independent engineers as a budget component designed for cost rather than longevity, fails with a frequency that places Ferroli at the bottom of the Which annual boiler survey. Engineers rate them 1 out of 5 stars. 45% of owners are dissatisfied, compared with 8% for Worcester Bosch. One engineer, after fitting over 80 Ferroli boilers, now refuses to install them for owner-occupiers. There is a 12.8% catastrophic failure rate within 5 years, against 1 in 60 for Worcester Bosch. Ferroli's out-of-warranty service charges £335 to attend, with parts covered only to £250. Exceed that and the boiler is declared beyond economic repair. You pay £335 to be told to buy a new one. UK-specific aggravation. Ferroli is one of the most common boilers fitted by volume house builders. If you are buying a new build and the boiler is a Ferroli, you are inheriting someone else's cost calculation. Budget for replacement within 5 years. The closing verdict: cheap to install, expensive to own, and backed by an engineer network that cannot reach you in time to matter. Worst number 2, Vokèra. Vokèra has the worst overall score in the most comprehensive independent survey of boiler brands, with a total score of 50% across reliability, customer satisfaction, engineer endorsement, warranty strength, and parts availability. 50%. That is a machine that fails the basic brief on half the metrics that matter. The Vokèra Compact series suffers from ignition lockouts, gas valve faults, and diverter valve failures at a rate independent engineers consistently describe as unacceptable. The PCB can cost up to £500 to replace on a boiler that costs £900 new, making a year 4 PCB failure a replacement decision, not a repair decision. The Compact series runs at around 88% efficiency versus 92 to 98% for premium brands. Over 10 years, a 4 to 10% efficiency gap on a £900 annual gas bill costs between £360 and £900 in wasted fuel. The warranty tops out at 7 years, conditionally. UK-specific aggravation. Vokèra is common in rental properties fitted by cost-driven landlords. If you are renting a property with a Vokèra, document every fault in writing to your landlord from the first occurrence. The closing verdict: the cheapest option in the shop, and you will spend the difference many times over before the decade is out. Worst number 3, Biasi. Biasi positions itself as budget-friendly. On that single metric it delivers. On every other metric, the Which survey data is damning. Only 64% of Biasi owners are satisfied, the joint lowest in the survey alongside Ferroli. Biasi boilers are 40% likely to remain fault-free after 6 years, compared with 80% for Worcester Bosch. Engineers criticise build quality. Failure patterns include printed circuit board faults, pressure problems from inconsistent manufacturing tolerances, noisy operation, and unreliable ignition. Ignition failures emerge in the first cold snap when engineer availability is tightest. Biasi's warranty runs from 2 to 5 years. Trustpilot reviews from 2025 include accounts of fault codes appearing within days of installation and engineers refusing to fit the latest models at all. UK specific aggravation. Biasi is common in flats and social housing, where the developer specified the cheapest compliant boiler available. The occupant inherits a machine they never chose. The closing verdict: you pay less upfront and considerably more over the life of the machine. Worst number 4, Heatline and Ravenheat. These two share a section because they share a problem. Engineers are replacing them at under 8 years, well below the industry average. Heatline's Capri's model is consistently cited for poor reliability and scarce spare parts. Ravenheat suffers from inconsistent heat output, weak build quality, and frequent ignition errors. Both generate repeat call-outs on the same boiler in the same property, none of which are covered by warranty. Each call-out costs £80 to £150 before parts or labour, and post-Brexit parts that previously arrived in a week now take 3 to 4 weeks. A UK-specific aggravation is that both brands are disproportionately present in cheaper new builds and buy-to-let properties. If you're viewing a property and the boiler is a Heatline or a Ravenheat, factor a replacement into your offer price immediately. The closing verdict is stark. The engineer network is thin, the parts supply is thinner, and the boiler's engineering is not built to outlast either problem. Before we get into the 3 brands worth buying, drop a comment right now and tell me what boiler brand you have and whether it has ever let you down in winter. My guess is that a significant number of you are going to name one of those 4. I also expect a meaningful proportion will say the worst breakdown happened in January or February, the moment the boiler was working hardest and engineers were least available. That is not a coincidence. That is physics meeting a bad purchasing decision. The 3 brands worth your money. Best number 1, Worcester Bosch. Worcester Bosch has won the Which Best Buy Award 15 consecutive times. In the most recent Which survey, owners reported an 82% satisfaction rate, the highest of any brand in the survey, and they hold 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot from over 44,000 verified reviews. That is a reputation built on what the boiler actually does across years of British winters. The technical reason Worcester Bosch outperforms is their aluminium silicon alloy heat exchanger, delivering thermal conductivity of 237 watts per meter Kelvin, compared with 14 to 25 for standard stainless steel. The Green Star 4000 and 8000 Life models have a modulation ratio of 1 to 10. The boiler can operate at 10% of full output, cycling less frequently and placing less stress on every internal component. Most competitors run at ratios from 1 to 5 up to 1 to 7. When installed by a Worcester accredited installer, the Green Star range carries up to a 12-year warranty, and full installation starts from approximately £2,400. The one genuine weakness is cost. Worcester Bosch costs more upfront than every brand on the avoid list. The payback is real and documented. The clear recommendation is buy the Green Star 4000 or 8000 Life, use an accredited installer, and service it annually. Best number 2, Viessmann. Viessmann is the brand heating engineers cite when they want to go further than Worcester Bosch. Heatable, one of the UK's largest independent installation companies, has fitted Viessmann since 2018, and their internal call-out data places Viessmann at least as reliable as Worcester in post-installation performance. Viessmann holds 4.3 out of 5 on Trustpilot from nearly 5,000 reviews and carries Which Best Buy status. The technical differentiator is their inox radial stainless steel heat exchanger, manufactured in-house to Viessmann's own specification, outlasting copper by a significant margin in UK hard water. Viessmann has reduced internal spare part count in the Vokèra series by up to 50%, meaning fewer components to fail and cheaper servicing when an engineer attends. The Vitadent 100 bulb achieves up to 98% seasonal efficiency and is quiet enough for kitchen cupboard installation. The heat exchanger itself carries a separate 10-year component warranty. The 050W is priced from approximately £2,295 installed. The one genuine weakness is that Viessmann's UK service network is smaller than Worcester Bosch's. For response speed after installation, Worcester leads. The clear recommendation is, if you can find a Viessmann accredited installer, the Vitodens 100W is the best boiler available for a British home. Best number 3. Ideal Logic Max. The Ideal Logic Max answers the question most British homeowners are actually asking. What is the most reliable boiler I can buy without spending premium money? Ideal is a British brand manufactured in Hull, with a domestic parts supply chain no Brexit disruption can affect, which rates Ideal among the most reliable brands in the UK. Gas-safe engineers consistently recommend the Logic Max first for budget-conscious homeowners. The Logic Max outperforms its price point through simplicity. The internal layout is accessible, parts are available through UK merchants without specialist ordering, retailing from approximately £900 before installation with a 10-year warranty on registered installation. One critical distinction: pre-2017 Ideal Logic models had documented heat exchanger and PCB failure rates. The Logic Max resolved those issues. An old Ideal Logic in a second-hand property listing is not the same product. The one genuine weakness: the Logic Max does not match the efficiency ratings or build finish of Worcester or Viessmann. It is the reliable mid-range option, not the premium. The clear recommendation for anyone who cannot stretch to Worcester or Viessmann, the Ideal Logic. Max, with a registered 10-year warranty, is the most defensible purchase in the UK market. The rules. Every British homeowner needs Rule 1. The warranty length is the manufacturer's bet on how long the boiler will last. A 2-year warranty is the manufacturer betting it survives 2 years. A 12-year warranty is the manufacturer betting it survives 12. Never buy a boiler with less than a 10-year warranty from an accredited installer. If the brand does not offer 10 years, that is not a specification gap. That is a statement about what they expect the machine to do. Rule 2. Ask the installer one direct question before you commit. If this boiler fails on Christmas Day, how quickly can I get an engineer? A 12-year warranty backed by a 45-person engineer network is not the same product as a 12-year warranty backed by a nationwide accredited installer program. They are different products wearing the same word. Rule 3. Install a magnetic system filter on the day the boiler is fitted. A Fernox TF1 or ADE Magna Clean catches the ferrous debris, radiator sludge, corroded pipe material and limescale before it reaches the heat exchanger. A blocked heat exchanger is the most expensive single boiler failure. It is also the most preventable. The filter costs between £50 and £100 installed. It is the cheapest insurance on a £2,000 machine. The maths option 1. You fit a Ferroli Modena Combi for £1,400 including installation. The PCB fails at year 4. The out-of-warranty visit is £335, parts covered up to £250. The repair exceeds the threshold. Beyond economic repair, you replace it. Another £1,400. On the second boiler at year 7, the heat exchanger goes. Repair £600. Total over 15 years, £3,735 across 2 boilers and 3 engineer visits. Option 2. You fit a Worcester Bosch Greenstar 4000 for £2,400, including accredited installation and a 12-year warranty. Annual service, £100. At year 12 you have spent £1,200 in servicing. The warranty covered 2 minor component replacements at no cost. Total over 12 years, £3,600. The premium boiler cost less over a shorter period, required no unplanned spending, and never left your family without heating in February. The cheaper boiler is the most expensive boiler you will ever buy. That was known before it left the factory. Now you know it too. The UK boiler market is not broken by accident. Budget brands entered the UK because they could build to the minimum regulatory standard at a price appealing to volume house builders, people making the purchase decision who would not live with the consequences. The homeowner moving into a new build fitted with a Ferroli or a Biasi did not choose it. they inherited it. The post-Brexit parts supply chain, the thin engineer networks, and the conditional warranty small print ensure that cost is paid in full. Ferroli comes bottom of the which annual boiler survey. Vokèra scores 50% across the metrics that matter. Biasi is 40% likely to fail within 6 years. Heatline and Ravenheat are being replaced at under 8 years. Worcester Bosch has won. Which? Best Buy. Buy 15 consecutive times. Viessmann's heat exchanger carries its own 10-year component warranty. Ideal logic. Max is manufactured in Hull on a domestic supply chain. Brexit cannot reach. The warranty length is the manufacturer's bet. Make sure you are backing the right one. If this video saved you from a boiler that was going to cost you more than its sticker price suggested, subscribe now so you never miss one. Share it with anyone about to replace their boiler, anyone who just moved into a new build, and anyone standing in front of an engineer's quote wondering whether to repair or replace. That is all.